Hello. Time is quite a peculiar thing, but how does anyone even describe something like time? Well, it moves forwards, at least in our dimension as far as we know. It's often compared to something swimming in a river or something, and it's a little like the beat of a drum. You can't see it, but you can see its influence on the world, and quite frankly, there's still some debate over whether or not it's even real, or if it's a man-made concept like money, the government, rocks, or the law. So I guess what I'm trying to say is time is a giant space whale playing the drums, moving in one direction forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Okay, in actuality, defining time is quite hard to do, and deciding whether it's real or not is even harder. So for the purposes of this video, just think about time as something real, like trees, or Pokemon, or my ability to talk to girls. Oh, wait, sorry, that one shouldn't be there. Right, so time being a whale is peculiar and all, but the real peculiarities of time lay in its properties. It seems strange to say, but for something that is supposed to be constant, not only do different species have different perceptions of time, but even how humans perceive time varies. Quite a lot, it seems. It looks like as we get older, time starts to move faster for us. Like, a lot faster. Okay, so how do we know this is happening exactly? Well, aside from a fairly strong association with your age and the amount of times you'll use the phrase time flies, we have forward telescoping, or forward telescoping bias as it's also known, is the cognitive phenomenon of perceiving events that happened long ago to be much closer than they actually are. So for example, you're much more likely to say that the time someone you fancied said yes when you invited them to play Super Smash Bros. At your house. Wait, sorry, that never happened. That time you played Super Smash Bros. At your house alone while crying for a couple hours happened a year ago, when in actuality it happened 3 years ago. Aside from the fact that you should be over it by now, forward telescoping is much more likely to affect people of higher ages than younger ages. Oh yeah, also there's like some research done that shows that older people are much more likely to overestimate the length of a minute or something. So there are a few theories as to why this happens. This one suggests that as you age, your metabolic rate and the rate at which your neurons say, "Hey Jim, busy day in the office, yeah?" "Yes, George, I agree, very busy indeed," to one another slows down, which means the time it takes you to mentally compute slows down, and so everything around you seems to speed up. It would be really reasonable to say this is a natural side effect of aging, but I think it's because Jim is just really tired of George borrowing his almond milk all the time for his fruit smoothies. This theory says that when you're younger, there's just so much more information to take in, a process which is associated with the release of the neurotransmitter dopamine, because almost everything is novel to you. It's the taking in of information and the release of dopamine which has been linked to a slower perception of time. Naturally, as you age, less things become interesting, so again, time speeds up. By the way, dopamine, for those of you that don't know, is that neurotransmitter that does that thing when the other thing happens. Or this one, which suggests that because each additional year you age becomes a lesser percentage of your total life lived. So when you're 2 years old, each year of your life is weighted at 50%, and when you're 20, each year is weighted at 5% of your total life. That's to say, our perception of time is logarithmic. Here, let me draw you a graph. This is a linear line, and this is a logarithmic one. As you gain more and more years under your belt, instead of a linear progression like in this graph, time will take up less and less space on the x-axis as y increases. Following the logic of this theory, a month of time when you're 5 years old is gonna be around the same time as a year when you're 55 years old. And not only that, but if we're taking this theory into account, then the first second of your life should feel something like an eternity. What's more is that by the time you're 20 years old, assuming you'll live to be around 100, half of your perceived time alive will already be over. In my opinion, this is the weakest of the three theories I've mentioned, because while the other two can withstand pressures of up to 7 atmospheres, this one is lucky to make it to 3. And while this theory may not be the most delicious, I do think it has something to teach us. Time is a strange thing. Time is fleeting. A moment can feel like an eternity when you're trapped in it, but when piecing a collection of moments together, you can't help but to ask yourself where the time went. And while no one knows how much time they have left, unless they're an oracle wizard, I think it's safe to assume we all want to do as much as we can with whatever amount of time that happens to be. Well, unless you're an oracle wizard. I guess then you kind of already know everything you're going to be able to do. So, get to work because time is ticking. Okay, bye.